The Legion of Blood is a force replete with contradiction, a weapon of subtlety and grandeur alike, equally skilled in the employment of patient intrigue and of lethal force. Such is entirely fitting for the army of the Mortarch Neferata and the macabre aristocracy she has crafted in her image. The Legion of Blood is the splendor of midnight aristocracy unleashed, the epitome of many vampires' vision for the realms. Ranks of bleached skeletal warriors stand to attention, while darkly beautiful vampiric nobles stride at their fore, striking down hapless mortals with the cold and biting laughter. Yet, behind the image it presents upon the battlefield, the Legion is a nebulous thing, its goals and machinations as inscrutable as they are effective. Truly, then, it can be said to reflect the will of she who rules from the center of the sanguine web, Neferata, Mortarch of Blood. Neferata is an ancient creature who thrives on disaster and dominion. While most undead are naturally drawn to stagnation, she revels in overcoming the mutability of circumstance. The secret libraries of New Lamia are filled with treaties penned by the vampiric monarch, expounding her learnings on mastering the shifting ebbs of power. A being of depthless cunning with well-honed talent for intrigue, Neferata epitomizes the side of Soulblight curse that drives a vampire to seek mastery over all things. In Neferata, the underworld she has claimed as her own, many peasant villages are little more than blood farms where living cattle are broken in will, butchered, and served upon the feasting tables of New Lamia's undead aristocracy. The mortals native to the illusion shroud city, and such do exist, for Neferata desires command over both the living and the dead, fare little better. Through ancient traditions such as the culling of the firstborn and the dance of the red goblet, she keeps the noble houses suppressed and at one another's throats while identifying candidates to bless with the blood kiss. Neferata's favor is typically bestowed upon females, though not to the point of exclusivity. Anyone who displays a penchant for command, intrigue, and subtlety are ripe for induction into the blood of New Lamia. Many of those newly sired vampires are ordered to sate their thirst with the blood of their own kin, binding them to Neferata in evil and removing potential rebellious thorns from the Blood Queen's side. It is the duty of Neferata and her most trusted courtiers to serve as Nagash's spy masters and agents of anarchy. Across the long millennia of her existence, the Mortarch has refined the principles of manipulation into a venerable art form. From the opulent inner sanctums of the Palace of Blood, she weaves a web of corruption so vast and staggering in its complexity that none save Neferata herself have any hope of truly comprehending it. Few are the mortal-held territories that do not play host to secretive blood cults, vampiric covens, and underground societies of necromancers sponsored by the lords and ladies of New Lamia. A savant of espionage, Neferata employs an extensive repertoire of techniques to direct her agents in accordance with her will. Many of these are mystical in nature, such as scrying founts filled with fresh glistening blood of sacrificed seers, and ensorcelled fellbats that roost in crumbling mausoleums and serve as her eyes. Nevertheless, the Mortarch retains an appreciation for handwritten correspondence. Her keen mind is capable of processing and retaining information from hundreds of sources simultaneously, while her decrees are immaculately inked upon parchment wrought from the flayed flesh of nobles and scented with luxurious New Lamian perfumes. Neferata has expended a great deal of effort in establishing one of the finest spy networks in all of the mortal realms. There is no almost secret that can be concealed from her should she desire to unmask it. While Manfred and his brood may be renowned for their ability to find opportunity amidst adversity, the Mortarch of Blood maintains that only by turning a foe's misfortune into a weapon can true victory be achieved. Her devoted servants see into the war camps of the Eight Points, the guild houses of the Caradron Skyports, and the mansions of the magnates throughout the free cities. The Clear Blood Fellowship, a sub-branch of the Order of Azir dedicated to unraveling Neferata's network of watchers and agents, even harbors quiet concerns that she has successfully planted her most skilled intelligencers into Azurheim itself, though how such a masterstroke may have been achieved remains the subject of intense speculation. The overlords of the Legion of Blood value many kinds of information, but prize military intelligence above all. Though not as openly contemptuous of the living as their counterparts in the Legion of Night, these self-proclaimed aristocrats revel in the opportunity to outfox and outmaneuver lackwit mortals before annihilating them on the field of battle. Tireless undead armies will march for days on end to seize sites of strategic worth or arcane power, fortifying them before expeditions of living soldiery can finish mustering. Enemy commanders of note will be investigated and appropriate counter-hexes devised. Expert vampiric saboteurs will wield potent ending magics to spoil an army's rations or summon illusionary mists to waylay marching columns. By the time a rival force finally encounters the Legion of Blood in all its terrible majesty, their defeat will already have been orchestrated down to the smallest detail. All that remains is for the vampire covens entrusted with generalship to ensure their mistress's designs are carried out to perfection. The terrifying splendor of these undead nobles clad in full war regalia is a potent weapon in itself. The core of the Legion of Blood is composed of death rattle. While Neferata and her favored generals will resurrect hordes of the more freshly slain when necessity demands it, they consider deadwalkers to be an unsightly servant, unbefitting of those who value the finer things in unlife. Clad in polished armor and cloth dyed shades of scarlet and imperial purple, ranks of skeletons form an imposing wall of bleached bone. Rather than simply grind the foe down through mindless attrition, however, these cohorts will engage key portions of the enemy line before parting their ranks to allow lances of black knights and retinues of grave guard to deliver killing blow. Forearmed by their extensive spycraft and the experience they have garnered over a span of many lifetimes, the commanders of the Legion often seem to know what tactic will be employed against them before the enemy themselves do, arranging their fleshless minions to expertly counter the enemy's ploys. These vampiric courtiers lead their hosts with such precision that even Catacross the Undefeated has been known to offer a solitary nod upon witnessing them in battle. High praise indeed from the fabled Mortarch of the Necropolis. Neferata's armies are a grand affair despite their macabre nature. Her skeletal servants are resplendent in death, their bones cleansed with scented oils or painted with fine inks. In New Lamia, there exists an underclass of mortal slaves, charged with ensuring the Legion's cohorts remain immaculate, on pain of becoming a meal for the vampires, of course. Many of the Legion's elite whites were once members of New Lamia's noble houses, their armors and banners still bearing their former heraldry, though there is perhaps an element of queenly vanity in this pageantry, no doubt intensified following the rise of the darkly glorious Ossiarch Bone Reapers. As with everything the Mortarch of Blood does, strategy remains paramount. Neferata knows the power of perception. Though she may not send her hosts into battle as readily as some of her kin, when she does give the order, it is always to make a definitive statement of strength. Those who face the Legion of Blood are confronted by a terrifying, yet bleakly majestic enemy that seems to know their every move in advance, and despite their aristocratic airs to which they cling, the vampires who hold command take satisfaction in tearing apart foes with bloodthirsty zeal. Neferata. From the opulent city of New Lamia, Neferata weaves a tapestry of strife and discord that stretches across the mortal realms. But she is no mere instigator skulking fearfully in the shadow. She is a queen amongst vampires, and when she takes to the battlefield in person, few can stand before her dark majesty. Neferata is the first of the Soulblight. Though she may appear youthful, with her skin a flawless alabaster and her hair a lustrous black. In truth, she is many millennia old. She recalls a time when even Nagash was mortal, and it was her brilliance and will to power that led in part to the creation of the vampires. As a member of the ancient cabal that plumbed the 9 books of Nagash for the secrets of immortality and the first to achieve true undeath, Neferata has claimed to be the ultimate sire of every lesser dynasty and bloodline, though her old rival Manfred would surely dispute such a notion, much to her amusement. The sheer aura of majesty she projects is a potent weapon in itself, and it is no small wonder that Nagash granted Neferata the dark honor of being numbered amongst his inner circle of mortarchs. While some may fixate upon Neferata's cold beauty or quicksilver speed, the wise know that her greatest weapon has always been her intelligence. For many centuries she has honed her craft and her cunning, and now all but the most intricate of stratagems are little more than a game to her. New Lamia is a hotbed of intrigue and conspiracy, but such is the Blood Queen's mastery of her sinister arts that she can track the progress of a great multitude of expert spies, secretive cults, and devoted generals simultaneously, directing them with consummate skill to serve her ends. Only for the most sensitive of manipulations, or to stave off ennui and amuse herself fighting against those rare foes she deems worthy of personal attention, will Neferata quit the luxurious palaces of New Lamia and ride at the head of her legion of blood. Mounted atop the dread abyssal Nagadron, she impassionately surveys the enemy army as it draws up before her, its composition, tactics, and secret weaknesses having already been revealed by her vast network of informers, and 1,000 counterploys run through the vampire's mind. Neferata is a skilled sorcerer, as any vampire, capable of reanimating shattered undead minions with a thought, or temporarily rendering her warriors as translucent and difficult to strike as dusk's coying mist. It is in the arena of personal combat, however, where the Soulblight Queen excels. For when she bestrides the battlefield, Neferata intends to make a statement. She bears war relics of ancient blood cults enchanted with agonizing magics. Akhmet-Har, the dagger of Jet, has opened the throats of countless sacrifices splayed across gore-slick altars, its killing edge consistently hungry for new victims, while Akhenseth, the Staff of Pain, ensures that those touched by her spells are soon overcome with waves of blood-burning torment. Most who encounter the Queen are either slain by precision strikes too fast for even elf eyes to follow, or else left for Nagadron to crush and devour. Only for the most notable of adversaries, those who display the greatest skill or conviction, does Neferata expend any real effort. With malicious laughter and calculating sneers, she will toy with them, inflicting death by 1,000 cuts and sapping their strength little by little. Every weakness will be exploited, if only to impose upon such unfortunates the folly of defying her. As they fall, these champions are granted one final reward for their fleeting entertainment provided. Their blood is used to feed Neferata's monstrous hunger. Their last sensations, that of the Vampire Queen's sharpened fangs plunging deep into their neck. I will not deny that there is a certain crass appeal to be found in lifting a silvered blade aloft to the cheers of one's psychopaths, or, as my kind are far more wont to do, drowning the land in a tide of hot blood and reveling in the predictable fears of the unwashed masses. There are even some who would argue that these realms were built through such unsettled means. Ha! But I know better. I alone appreciate the nature of victory, and that is because I alone recognize the enemy. Not the greenskins, not the moronic chanters of the ruinous powers, not even the storm god's mongrel legions. No. The enemy is chance, the flip of the peddler's coin, the rolling of the gambler's knuckle bones. My power is born from mastery, and that mastery is over disaster. I see outcomes like the branches of a great gnarled oak, and I prune away those that do not please me. I know the way the coin will land, because I ensured that I minted it. I make certain that the knuckle bones are weighted before my foe even decides to pick them up. So it is that those who would oppose me soon discover that there is no chance, there is only my will. Queen Neferata, Meditations upon Dominion. The Legion of Blood is my favorite legion for the vampires. I do like the spy games, the political intrigue that would naturally come with them. I am disappointed that they did not write rules for that specifically. I don't know how they would do it, but I wish they made an attempt. It is, the lore-wise, they are a death rattle legion type thing. And they have that down, but I wish there was more interplay, more vampire options, like vampire spies that could affect your enemy units. Kind of like how you have the assassin in Skaven and cities that could be inside a unit. Maybe you could put a vampire in one of your enemy's unit and kind of have a mini Bellicor effect on them. That would have been fun, I think. Other than that, I like this lore. I like the stories. I even read the Neferata books that they have, and I wish there was more. It was very interesting reading about just the devotion the vampires have towards her, and those that don't have the devotion. Like, she has to deal with rebellion in both books. You have mortals rebelling, and then no spoilers or anything, but like, she really takes that rebellious idea and makes it like, it really shows her ability to take people's motivations and make them fall back on themselves and destroy their enemies. It's fun to see the political intrigue and the insight Neferata and just those vampires within her influence have. It really shows like the air of majesty as you read those books that Neferata has. Even mortals are swayed by her, just her presence, and those vampires that follow her. I like it. I like it a lot. It's, again, my favorite legion. And I do hope they expand more with her books and stuff. I haven't read anything about Manfred or any of his books. Not even sure if he has any, but I definitely want to read them and like just compare and contrast how the two legions are different. Neferata is more open to having mortals serve in her court and have input. The nobles have influence within New Lamia, and it's interesting how that works. And you see that in the books, how they go to the court. I mean, like, overall, it's Neferata's will. She don't care what any of them say, but it does have that hierarchy that you would expect. Like, she's clearly a monarch. She has, it's like divine right ruling, but there's still the court that she holds, where people do go in and chit chat, and the nobles actually have roles to play. So that's pretty fun. Anyways, I hope you like this. That was the Legion of Blood and Neferata with the little meditations that are in the book Neferata. I'm Mars. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a great day. Bye.